guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is another exciting video you want to pay attention to, and ensure you get every single thing that I will say inside this video, because a lot of misconception and I've been flying around of people trying to trade news or trying to engage the market whenever a volatile news wants to be released. And this is just how I trade my NFP news, or this is how I traded the last NFP. And I'm going to be telling you some very key things that you should know about trading news as a whole. NFP simply stands for Non-Farm Payroll, and the NFP news report is a key economic indicator for the United States, and represents the total number of paid workers in the US, excluding those employed by farms, the federal government, private households, and non-profit organizations. So the non-farm payroll reports is among the most market-moving data points for the US dollar and US equities, treasures, and gold. And of course, there are some other currencies too that get affected by the NFP, as the GBP pairs and even the Euro pairs. But this is one of the most volatile news in the market amongst FOMC and CPI. Is one of the most volatile news as well. And this news is released every first Friday of the month by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, I usually hear people say things like, oh, there's going to be NFP news today. I want to go and trade NFP news, or I have to go and trade CPI. I want to go and trade FOMC. And I see them as traders that actually go to the market to want to gamble. And you see some of them even doing live sessions and placing a trade and saying it to go this direction. And their mentees or their followers start looking at it. And before you know it, it goes in the opposite direction and knocks them out. I just see those people as people that just go to the market to actually gamble in the market. Now, this is a statistics that is released every first Friday of the month that talks about the labor of the previous month, of course. And one thing I want you to know is that whatever the effect of NFP news or any news would be, I'm talking about NFP now, so I'll just stay on NFP. Whatever the effect NFP news will have when it is released in the first Friday of the month would have been a cumulative effect of data in the market. It would have been a cumulative effect of the week 1 from the last NFP, the week 1, the week 2, the week 3, the week 4 data. Do you understand? So that simply means that whatever effect that the news will have eventually would be in a way as to support what market has actually been presenting before that day. So the best way to trade NFT is to analyze your market normally. And that is what I've been doing for months. And that is what I did last NFP, which I'm going to show you the pair that I traded. And that's what I'll keep doing. So there's no special way. There's no special way. But it's just that during the news, you might just want to be careful because sometimes slippage may occur. You understand? If you are on the wrong side of the market, price could bust through your stop loss, and your stop loss will not be sensitive enough to detect that price has crossed through it, and you might just blow your account. Okay, so let me just show you analysis of the last pair I traded that I just analyzed normally. And of course, it fell on the day that NFP was going to be released, and I held on to my trade because I knew what I have analyzed. I knew where market is going. I knew that market couldn't do otherwise. And we're going to see what happened eventually. So let's move into the chart and see how I traded my last NFP news on odd USD. All right, so this is the current position of the market. This was the current position of the market before I traded it. So I'm just going to be marking out my key areas. But from what we can see here, we can see that odd USD is currently bearish. can see the movement of price. Let me look for a poly line. So we can see the movement of price that it has actually been bearish. Okay, it has actually been bearish, and so the key levels now that I want to highlight. All right, price has taken external liquidity here. Price has taken external liquidity. So this simply means that the movement upward is just a retracement for price to actually continue downward, right? So the first place I spotted that I saw a very nice reaction was this base. I have this base here, which is a 4-hour. This is a 4-hour supply. So this is a 4-hour supply. All right, and price has reacted to it and giving me a very good intent. But at the same time, I just wanted to see what was sponsoring the buy. So I had to go to the left-hand side of the chart to see, let me go to my daily to see what was sponsoring the buy, so that I won't be in the wrong side of the market. All right. So of course, from the daily perspective, price actually reacted from a good demand. So this was my daily demand right here. All right. So with the fact that I know what is actually sponsoring this buy, I just need to know exactly what to do with respect to what price will present to me, so that I don't trade and miss. All right. So I have a very good daily demand here, but of course, bearish order flow is still maintained and price was coming to the downside. So now let's move to a more lower time frame. Let's go to 1 hour. Let me see price occurrence. So now for the fact that price was probably meant to continue bearish, what do we see here? We have price reacting from a daily demand. I want us to see. So let me type this. This is a daily demand. Daily demand. So I know what is sponsoring the buy. Right, but at the same time we have sell order flow maintained. So price reacted successfully to this 4-hour supply, right? Reacted successfully to this 4-hour supply. And of course, once price is approaching a particular zone, what you want to do is that you want to notice the order flow just before price gets to that zone and see if there'll be a significant break of structure or if price will bust through that zone. So fine, I like this reaction from here, but at the same time, coming down to 1 hour, I need to see that I need to mark out my key areas. Of course, this alone would have validated the zone for me upward, because there is liquidity resting just above this zone, right? There's liquidity engineered before that zone, and of course the last low that created that high that mitigated my 4-hour was here. So any break below this place will confirm a break of structure for me, or if not, price will just mitigate here and go and form a higher high. Okay, so this is my last significant low. From what we can see that price was trending upward, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high. So this was my last structural point. I need to increase this and turn it to black. So this was my last structural point. So any break below this point will be a break of structure for me. So I'll just notice in price. And of course, if a confirmation is given here for a buy, I will definitely want to buy it. The fact that price has approached the supply does not mean I won't consider demand order flow with respect to normal structure. So this was my last structural point. So I needed to see what price would do. And let's see what price did. Actually, price broke it. So this was a break of structure for me, right? This was a break of structure. So let me just label it BOS. So this was a break of structure. Break of structure. Normal analysis, break of structure. So now that structure is broken, I need to, and I saw this momentum move to the downside, and I needed to go to a more lower time frame to see if I could spot some very nice zones that I might actually want to utilize. And of course, I've said it in one of my videos before that whenever price, I think that was my change of character video, that whenever we have momentum and structure in the same direction in the momentum move, just watch out for any base around here because price could actually use it. So so look at the momentum move to the downside. I had to come to lower time frame so I could see some candle data, and I spotted a base here. I want you guys to see this base I spotted. I spotted a base here. I spotted a base here, which if price will utilize that base, I want to see what price will actually do when it gets there. But at the same time too, I am not ignorant that this is a base, and of course price has actually touched the base and given a reaction to that side. So just in case price wants to actually utilize this area. But at the same time, one very key thing that I always say in my videos is that liquidity actually validates a zone. So I view this as liquidity actually because there is a zone resting above it. But if price gives me confirmation around here, it's something that I want to take. So there's liquidity resting above here. There's liquidity resting there. So I wanted to just see what price would do. I wanted to see what price would do. All right. So let's play price out and see if price would give any meaningful move. This is actually a base. If you go to a more lower time frame, let's say 5 minutes, you will see it clearly that we have a base around here. We have a base around here. Okay, so we have a base around here. So but it's clear on the 15 minutes. This is like an hidden order block. So let's see what price did. All right. So plain price. Could see that price actually didn't give me any good intent from this area that will make me want to sell. So I started waiting for my zone above and seeing if price would give me something very meaningful. All right, so so price mitigated it, right? Price mitigated the zone. For those that might actually want to enter straight, this is going to be an aggressive entry. But as for me, if price is going to move, I always like waiting for intent. All right, I always like waiting for intent. And with respect to my 15 minutes here, this was a very nice zone that I intended to actually sell from, right? Why? Because price has actually given me a good intent from there. And this low here was actually my last structural point for demand order flow to be maintained. So this was already a trade entry for me. And I had my limits set there. So my stop loss was just above that area, which was around 13 pips. Stop loss. All right. So that was my stop loss there. And where was I targeting? Definitely, I was targeting this low right here. Yeah, this was the first low I was actually targeting. But at the same time, I spotted a low around this area because I knew that this is definitely an external liquidity. Price will definitely take out this low. This is already an external liquidity because we are now in a downward trend, or we are now like bearish, probably for the meantime, even though we have daily sponsor in the buy. So, and I knew that if price was going to take out this low, it was actually going to take out this low too, because they are both Asian lows, they are liquidity lows, right? So these areas definitely are external liquidity, and price is always involved, or price is always in the business of taking external liquidities. That is even the reason for the formation of structures. All right. So my final target was this low here, which was around 100 pips. Now this happened on the 4th This happened on the 4th of August, right? Me analyzing my trade normally, and the next day was meant to be NFP. Okay, so let's see what price did. So price mitigated my zone. Price mitigated my zone and started selling. So this was the Asian low of the 4th, right? And with respect to my day trading video, if you go and watch it, you will see the significance of Asian high and lows that I always talk about. Now, I am very sure that price is actually moving downward. So most times, if price is set to move in the upward direction, Asian low will create buy-side liquidity so that price can grab the liquidity to the downside before moving up. And if price is actually meant to be bearish, Asian range will create liquidity to the upside so that price could grab the liquidity and utilize the next available zone to move downward. So this was Asian low playing out. And I might have a very neat order block resting above the Asian low where price could actually continue from, right? So this was already the next day. And okay, let me just play price towards the end of Asian low. So this was the end of Asian low. I mean, this was the end of Asian range, and this was my zone right here. So this was another entry, and stop loss was just above this other block here, right? So price doesn't have any business with any buy-side liquidity now with respect to structure. So that means I can now hold my trade to my final target. So this was the day of the NFP. This was the day of the NFP. And price mitigated, this was London mitigation. That was around 8 a.m., right? This was London mitigation. And price mitigated it nicely. So, and that was my final target. And NFP news was meant to be 1 p.m., right? So 1:30 rather. I think I should put an horizontal line around 1:30 so that we could see exactly what transpired. So this is a vertical line. So this is 1:30. So let me just put this line there. Let me make it thin, make it black so that you see exactly what happened around that time. Okay. So let's play price. So this was close to NFP. Now, a lot of people will be on chat now and wanting to trade NFP and probably looking for one demand or supply and blah, blah, blah. Whereas the normal data has said that, oh, we're actually bearish. And of course, since we're in a downtrend, we are coming to induce this low. Price might now tap into the next available demand to keep buying or maybe as a retracement for the sell. But mind you, price was coming from a daily demand. So this was my final target. And let's see what happened when news was released, if it would go against me or for me. And immediately it was released, price dumped down. Immediately, price dumped down. Immediately, price dumped down to my final target. Price dumped down to my final target. Immediately. All right? Price dumped down to my final target. So that was how NFP was killed. Just a normal analysis, and I was able to get over 100 pips. And my major aim was price taking out this liquidity, and price has taken out the liquidity. So price has every reason to buy, and price used the next available zone. So I was able to see over 100 pips, or more than 100 pips, I think, over 106 pips on this trade, as simple as possible. So whatever effect a news will have when it will be released, especially news like NFP, since it gives data of jobs, like I said, excuse me, I said NFP report is a key economic indicator for the United States, and it represents the total number of paid workers. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is a data that has been before the end of that month. So whatever effect the news will have will be built based on what has been forming. So just trade normally, right? Apply your normal stop loss, apply your normal risk management, and just trade. The only thing that you might not want to be careful of is trading exactly during NFP. And even though you're going to do that, ensure is even a limit that you are sure that whole price or news could actually come and trigger this entry. I've had such trade before. News come and trigger this entry, then move. So you have your stop loss place, you have your entry place, and the news can just come, snipe your entry, and move in your direction. I've done that several times. Do you get? But if you are not sure, you are just taking your coconut head to the chart and be like, I want to go and trade news. I want to go and trade news. I mean, what are you going to trade news for? Just go and do your normal analysis, and if price will go your way, it will go your way. Like I've always said, news only provides volatility. If this news wasn't released, price would have still slowly get to my final target. But because news was released, it created a very fast movement for price to get to my target. So what can happen in 2 days or in 1 day, news can make it happen in 5 minutes or in 15 minutes. It only creates volatility. It doesn't affect analysis. All right, so guys, I want to believe you guys have learned a lot from this video on how to trade NFP or how I trade my NFP. I don't bother to look at NFP values like, oh, there was so job last month, so job this month. Whatever the chart wants to do, it's already present on the charts. Take it or leave it. All right, so if this is your first time here, ensure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn on the notifications so that you can always get videos first and when I release them, and ensure that you watch other videos too, because they are as important as this one. And I wish you all the best. Good luck. Share this video. Good trading. Bye bye.